Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Remember 2016? You'll be forgiven if you're trying to push it out of your memory. It was the year that every celebrity just died. They were dropping like absolute flies. It was horrendous. I even bought myself a hoodie that says I survived 2016 on it, because I legit thought it was a bit of an achievement. But it was also the year that this beautiful creature came out. Ghostbusters 2016, the remake, the reimagining, the reboot, whatever you want to call it, of the Ghostbusters franchise. And when the first trailer came out, it was heavily downvoted. A ratio of approximately 3.5 dislikes to 1 like, hitting 1.1 million dislikes. And the reason why, the true reason why, it didn't look funny. It looked cheap, it looked desperate, and it didn't look appealing at all. Now, Sony, of course, tried to spin this, that it was toxic white males who were trying to derail these proud and wonderful females who were taking over the cast. It had nothing to do with that. Look, it's 2019. It was 2016 back then. Men don't hate women. There's a minuscule drop in the ocean of misogynists. Men love women. And guess what? Women love men. It's this crazy thing. That's why we have 7.5 billion people on the planet. Because they quite like each other. And so Sony's effort to try and spin this as a male hatred thing backfired miserably. They were caught deleting legitimate criticisms from the comment section and leaving the extreme ones up, so it looked like it was way more extreme than it actually was. But if you looked at the extreme comments compared to the view count, it was a literal drop in the ocean. A drop in the ocean. And so they just got caught out. People didn't go to see the film, men or women, because it looked terrible. And so it bombed miserably, and the Ghostbusters universe that they planned fell to pieces. Thank God. Now here we are in 2019 with the Batwoman trailer, which came out a few days ago. And I've already done a couple of videos about this and given a couple of takes. First of all, my take on the actual trailer itself, and then I discussed why she's actually portrayed as a villain in this trailer because of the way she's been written and not a hero. But it's easy to see why this has a worse ratio than Ghostbusters 2016. And not only that, it's managed to notch up 228,000 dislikes in just a matter of a few days, as opposed to the 1.1 million dislikes in the Ghostbusters trailer in 3 years. And this is going at a ratio of just under 4 dislikes to 1 like. Ouch! So why? Why is it so heavily downvoted? Well, if you've seen the trailer, it's obvious. It's a disgusting mess of identity politics and SJW nonsense. It's very disrespectful to men, and it's really disrespectful, which is why I personally gave it the downvote. Not because it disrespect to men, whatever, I couldn't care. It's the disrespect that it has for its source material, particularly Batman, who's celebrating his 80th birthday this year. In actual fact, Detective Comics 27 is dated May 1939. Although they come out like a couple of months before, so it'd actually be March that it would have released. But, you get the drift. And the way that it's written, that Batman is just absolutely pushed and belittled, and all the credit must go to this person, even though she takes everything of his. Cave, costume, gadgets, resources, computer, tech, the whole shebang. And the security guard is most likely Lucius Fox, or Lucius Fox's son, or a character that's going to be the Lucius Fox character. And so why, I asked myself, does the CW have this ridiculous agenda? So I decided to do some digging, and I found this article from nearly 2 years ago from The Wrap. And the title is CW President on Gender Balance Shakeup. We're trying to bring more women back. Now, there's nothing wrong with trying to bring more of a demographic to your product. But you also don't want to do it at the cost of the existing. So if you have 70% female and you have 30% male and you want more males to come into your product to bring more balance to the force, then you still want to hold on to those 70, that female audience, even though it's going to get ratioed down, by producing product that they want to see and creating product that a male audience wants to see. But when we read exactly what's going on at the CW, it's easy to see why they are causing trouble for themselves and they're bringing people on board which are going to cause trouble for them. Not only that, the people that they're bringing on don't understand what women actually want. They only understand their own politics, which actually pushes women away. Executives at the CW are still working to find the right balance between male and female viewers. Network president Mark Pedowitz, it's a bit of an unfortunate name, told reporters on Wednesday that the CW, which recently said goodbye to a few shows key to the female demographic, is currently a bit more male-centric than he would like. Okay, now, even on that first paragraph, we could say, it was second one actually, we could say, all right, he's saying we've got more men and we want to bring more women into the product. So that sounds fair enough so far. But then the next sentence just defies all logic. When I got here, we were 70% female, 30% male, Pedowitz said. We're now 50-50. Sorry, can we just go back to this? They are currently, there's a bit more male-centric than we would like. 50-50 ratio between males and females. Isn't that perfect? Isn't that absolutely perfect? You have a balance 50-50 of male people watching your product and female people wanting your product. Which means you have the interests of the men, who, believe it or not, are different to women, and you have the interests of women. So you can get good advertising because you're covering a really broad spectrum and a balanced spectrum. Whereas if you're 70% one gender and 30% another gender, then your advertising is going to lean predominantly towards one, which means it will actually be more difficult to get advertisers because of that. And more difficult to get advertisers for the lower amount because they'll be like, you haven't got a great demographic of males, so we don't want to put our product to that. We'd rather go elsewhere where the demographic is higher. So a 50-50 balance is perfect. But no, according to the CW, that's not balanced enough. There's too many men watching our product. Mentalists. And then they go on to say, that's why Riverdale was so important to us, because we lost Vampire Diaries and Reign. He said about attracting female viewers to the network, known for Arrow and other superhero programming. Now, shows like Arrow and Flash are most likely going to get a more male audience than female audience. And shows like Supergirl and SJWs of Tomorrow are likely going to draw more of a balance or more females than males to the product. But as regards to what shows they were doing, the Vampire Diaries, for instance, if I just show you the viewers, it did really well. I mean, yes, it dropped off towards the end, but it did go for 8 seasons, which is, a decent amount. But it dropped off towards the end. But the first 5 odd seasons, it's really holding well in terms of viewership. Really holding well in terms of viewership. So they want a show that's going to be there or thereabouts. So they said, Pedowitz pointed out that certain shows on the fall schedule should help to course correct this a bit. Let's get rid of those horrible men. Dynasty is important to us. Life Sentence and Valor have become important to us. Well, let's have a look at Dynasty first. These are the current Dynasty viewing figures. It barely gets over 500,000 viewers. It's terrible. This is on the second season as well. Barely over 500,000. Whereas, of course, the Vampire Diaries on season 2 was averaging 3.17. Started off with 3.36 and ended in 2.86. But Dynasty can barely scrape together 500,000 viewers. So, that's Dynasty down the old Swanee. And then Life Sentence. Let's have a look at Life Sentence, shall we? Oh, Life Sentence got cancelled after 1 season and only 13 episodes. Oopsies. And then Valor. Let's have a look at Valor, shall we? Oh, Valor got cancelled after 1 season and only 13 episodes. Oopsies. Didn't appeal to females. Dynasty, or Dynasty, whichever one you're going to call it, doesn't appeal to females. And then if you look at Supernatural, a show which has been going for 15 years, which has a massive female following, is still kind of, even though it's going to end next season, still gets nearly 1.5 million viewers after 15 years. But that's going. And then The Flash, which is probably more male, 1.5 to 2 million viewers. Arrow, which is, again, going now, kind of can barely scrape 1 million, sort of flirts with the 1 million mark. And those are the male-centric shows. So the female-centric shows, Supergirl, barely putting together 1.1 million. Barely. And then SJWs of Tomorrow, can't even hit that 1 million mark. And these are like on season 4. So CW can't attract women to the product. And they're trying to drive men away from the product. Their whole philosophy is so messed up. And why aren't they attracting females to the product? Because they think this is what women want. If you go onto the internet, if you go onto breakdowns of the Batwoman trailer or reactions to the Batwoman trailer, there is a huge amount of women who are doing these, who are just like, nah, no way. Why? Because women actually like men. They're not interested in bitches. They're not interested in horribly written, disgusting characters who ride off the back of other success and try and claim it as theirs, because whammon. No. They're interested in the journey. They're interested in characters that they can relate to, that they can believe to, that have a journey, that have flaws, just like them, just like all of us. But this is not how they write them. So they're not attracting women and they're forcing men away. And that is why you have this ratio. Because they are writing for nobody but themselves. They're only writing for their own agenda and their own politicking. And nobody gives a shit about that whatsoever. So I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do get a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links are in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Be seeing you